chapters 19 through 28 of Isaiah, American Standard Version. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information and to find out how you can volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Sam Stinson. Chapter 19. The Burden of Egypt. Behold, Jehovah rideth upon a swift cloud, and cometh unto Egypt. And the idols of Egypt shall tremble at his presence, and the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it. And I will stir up the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight every one against his brother, and every one against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. And the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst of it, and I will destroy the counsel thereof. And they shall seek unto the idols, and to the charmers, and to them that have familiar spirits, and to the wizards. And I will give over the Egyptians into the hand of a cruel lord. And a fierce king shall rule over them, saith the Lord, Jehovah of hosts. And the waters shall fail from the sea, and the river shall be wasted, and become dry. And the rivers shall become foul. The streams of Egypt shall be diminished and dried up. The reeds and flags shall wither away. The meadows by the Nile, by the brink of the Nile, and all the sown fields of the Nile shall become dry, be driven away, and be no more. And the fishers shall lament, and all they that cast angle into the Nile shall mourn, and they that spread nets upon the waters shall languish. Moreover, they that work in combed flax, and they that weave white cloth, shall be confounded. And the pillars of Egypt shall be broken in pieces. All they that work for hire shall be grieved in soul. The princes of Zoan are utterly foolish. The counsel of the wisest counselors of Pharaoh is become brutish. How say ye unto Pharaoh, I am the son of the wise, the son of ancient kings? Where then are thy wise men? And let them tell thee now, and let them know what Jehovah of hosts hath purposed concerning Egypt. The princes of Zoan are become fools. The princes of Memphis are deceived. They have caused Egypt to go astray, that are the cornerstone of her tribes. Jehovah hath mingled a spirit of perverseness in the midst of her, and they have caused Egypt to go astray in every work thereof, as a drunken man staggereth in his vomit. Neither shall there be for Egypt any work which head or tail, palm branch or rush, may do. In that day shall the Egyptians be like unto women, and they shall tremble in fear, because of the shaking of the hand of Jehovah of hosts, which he shaketh over them. And the land of Judah shall become a terror unto Egypt. Every one to whom mention is made thereof shall be afraid, because of the purpose of Jehovah of hosts, which he purposeth against it. In that day there shall be 5 cities in the land of Egypt that speak the language of Canaan, and swear to Jehovah of hosts. One shall be called the city of destruction. In that day shall there be an altar to Jehovah in the midst of the land of Egypt, and a pillar at the border thereof to Jehovah. And it shall be for a sign and for a witness unto Jehovah of hosts in the land of Egypt. For they shall cry unto Jehovah because of oppressors, and he will send them a Saviour and a defender, and he will deliver them. And Jehovah shall be known to Egypt, and the Egyptians shall know Jehovah in that day. Yea, they shall worship with sacrifice and oblation, and shall vow a vow unto Jehovah, and shall perform it. And Jehovah will smite Egypt, smiting and healing. And they shall return unto Jehovah, and he will be entreated of them, and will heal them. And that day shall there be a highway out of Egypt to Assyria, and the Assyrian shall come into Egypt, and the Egyptian into Assyria, and the Egyptians shall worship with the Assyrians. In that day shall Israel be the third with Egypt and with Assyria, a blessing in the midst of the earth. For that Jehovah of hosts hath blessed them, saying, Blessed be Egypt, my people, and Assyria, the work of my hands, and Israel, mine inheritance. End of chapter 19. Chapter 20. In the year that Tartan came unto Ashdod, when Sargon, the king of Assyria, sent him, and he fought against Ashdod and took it. At that time Jehovah spake by Isaiah, the son of Amoz, saying, Go, and loose the sackcloth from off thy loins, and put thy shoe from off thy foot, And he did so, walking naked and barefoot. And Jehovah said, Like as my servant Isaiah hath walked naked and barefoot 3 years for a sign and a wonder concerning Egypt and concerning Ethiopia, so shall the king of Assyria lead away the captives of Egypt and the exiles of Ethiopia, young and old, naked and barefoot, and with buttocks uncovered, to the shame of Egypt. And they shall be dismayed and confounded, because of Ethiopia their expectation, and of Egypt their glory. And the inhabitant of this coastland shall say in that day, Behold, such is our expectation, whither we fled for help to be delivered from the king of Assyria. And we, how shall we escape? End of chapter 20. Chapter 21. The burden of the wilderness of the sea. As whirlwinds in the south sweep through it, it cometh from the wilderness, from a terrible land. A grievous vision is declared unto me. The treacherous man dealeth treacherously, and the destroyer destroyeth. Go up, O Elam, besiege, O Media. All the sighing thereof have I made to cease. Therefore are my loins filled with anguish. Pangs have taken hold upon me, as the pangs of a woman in travail. I am pained so that I cannot hear. I am dismayed so that I cannot see. My heart fluttereth. Horror hath affrighted me. The twilight that I desired hath been turned into trembling unto me. They prepare the table. They set the watch. They eat. They drink. Rise up, ye princes, anoint the shield. For thus hath the Lord said unto me, Go, set a watchman, let him declare what he seeth. And when he seeth a troop, horsemen in pairs, a troop of asses, a troop of camels, he shall hearken diligently with much heed. And he cried as a lion, O Lord, I stand continually upon the watchtower in the daytime, and am set in my ward whole nights. And behold, here cometh a troop of men, horsemen in pairs. And he answered and said, Fallen, fallen is Babylon, and all the graven images of her gods are broken unto the ground. O thou my threshing, and the grain of my floor, that which I have heard from Jehovah of hosts, the God of Israel, have I declared unto you. The burden of Duma. One calleth unto me out of Seir, Watchman, what of the night? Watchman, what of the night? The watchman said, The morning cometh, and also the night. If ye will inquire, inquire ye. Turn ye, come. The burden upon Arabia. And the forest in Arabia shall ye lodge, O ye caravans of Dedanites. Unto him that was thirsty they brought water. The inhabitants of the land of Tema did meet the fugitives with their bread. For they fled away from the swords, from the drawn sword, and from the bent bow, and from the grievousness of war. For thus hath the Lord said unto me, Within a year, according to the years of a hireling, all the glory of Kedar shall fail. And the residue of the number of the archers, the mighty men of the children of Kedar, shall be few, for Jehovah the God of Israel hath spoken it. End of chapter 21. Chapter 22. The burden of the valley of vision. What aileth thee now, that thou art wholly gone up to the housetops? O thou that art full of shoutings, a tumultuous city, a joyous town, thy slain are not slain with the sword, neither are they dead in battle. All thy rulers fled away together, they were bound by the archers. All that were found of thee were bound together, they fled afar off. Therefore said I, Look away from me, I will weep bitterly. Labor not to comfort me for the destruction of the daughter of my people. For it is a day of discomfiture, and of treading down, and of perplexity from the Lord, Jehovah of hosts, in the valley of vision, a breaking down of the walls, and a crying to the mountains. And Elam bare the quiver, with chariots of men and horsemen. And Kir uncovered the shield. And it came to pass that thy choicest valleys were full of chariots, and the horsemen set themselves in array at the gate. And he took away the covering of Judah, and thou didst look in that day to the armor and the house of the forest. And ye saw the breaches of the city of David, that they were many, and ye gathered together the waters of the lower pool. And ye numbered the houses of Jerusalem, and ye brake down the houses to fortify the wall. Ye made also a reservoir between the two walls for the water of the old pool. But ye looked not unto him that had done this, neither had ye respect unto him that purposed it long ago. And in that day did the Lord, Jehovah of hosts, call to weeping, and to mourning, and to baldness, and to girding with sackcloth. And behold, joy and gladness, slaying oxen and killing sheep, eating flesh and drinking wine. Let us eat and drink, for tomorrow we shall die. And Jehovah of hosts revealed himself in mine ears. Surely this iniquity shall not be forgiven you, till ye die, saith the Lord Jehovah of hosts. Thus saith the Lord Jehovah of hosts, Go, get thee unto this treasurer, even unto Shebna, who is over the house, and say, What doest thou here? And whom hast thou here, that thou hast hewed thee out here a sepulchre, hewing him out a sepulchre on high, graving a habitation for himself in the rock? Behold, Jehovah, like a strong man, will hurl thee away violently. Yea, he will wrap thee up closely. He will surely wind thee round, and toss thee like a ball into a large country. There shalt thou die, and there shall be the chariots of thy glory, thou shame of thy Lord's house. And I will thrust thee from thine office, and from thy station shalt thou be pulled down. And it shall come to pass in that day that I will call my servant Eliakim, the son of Hilkiah, and I will clothe him with thy robe, and strengthen him with thy girdle, and I will commit thy government into his hand. Then he shall be a father to the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and to the house of Judah. And the key of the house of David will I lay upon his shoulder, and he shall open, and none shall shut, and he shall shut, and none shall open. And I will fasten him as a nail in a sure place, and he shall be for a throne of glory to his father's house. And they shall hang upon him all the glory of his father's house, the offspring and the issue, every small vessel, from the cups even to all the flagons. In that day, saith Jehovah of hosts, shall the nail that was fastened in a sure place give way, and it shall be hewn down, and fall, and the burden that was upon it shall be cut off, for Jehovah hath spoken it. End of chapter 22. Chapter 23. The burden of Tyre. Howl, ye ships of Tarshish, for it is laid waste, so that there is no house, no entering in. From the land of Kittim it is revealed to them. Be still, ye inhabitants of the coast, thou whom the merchants of Sidon, that pass over the sea, have replenished. And on great waters the seed of the Shihor, the harvest of the Nile, was her revenue, and she was the mart of nations. Be thou ashamed, O Sidon, for the sea hath spoken, the stronghold of the sea, saying, I have not travailed, nor brought forth, neither have I nourished young men, nor brought up virgins. When the report cometh to Egypt, they shall be sorely pained at the report of Tyre. Pass ye over to Tarshish, wail, ye inhabitants of the coast. Is this your joyous city, whose antiquity is of ancient days, whose feet carried her afar off to sojourn? Who hath purposed this against Tyre, the bestower of crowns, whose merchants are princes, whose traffickers are the honorable of the earth? Jehovah of hosts hath purposed it, to stain the pride of all glory, to bring into contempt all the honorable of the earth. Pass through thy land as the Nile, O daughter of Tarshish. There is no restraint any more. He hath stretched out his hand over the sea. He hath shaken the kingdoms. Jehovah hath given commandment concerning Canaan, to destroy the strongholds thereof. And he said, Thou shalt no more rejoice, O thou oppressed virgin daughter of Sidon. Arise, pass over to Kittim, even there shalt thou have no rest. Behold, the land of the Chaldeans. This people was not. The Assyrian founded it for them that dwell in the wilderness. They set up their towers. They overthrew the palaces thereof. They made it a ruin. Howl, ye ships of Tarshish, for your stronghold is laid waste. And it shall come to pass in that day that Tyre shall be forgotten 70 years, according to the days of one king. After the end of 70 years, it shall be unto Tyre as in the song of the harlot. Take a harp, go about the city, thou harlot that hast been forgotten. Make sweet melody, sing many songs, that thou mayest be remembered. And it shall come to pass after the end of 70 years, that Jehovah will visit Tyre, and she shall return to her hire, and shall play the harlot with all the kingdoms of the world upon the face of the earth. And her merchandise and her hire shall be holiness to Jehovah. It shall not be treasured nor laid up, for her merchandise shall be for them that dwell before Jehovah, to eat sufficiently, and for durable clothing. End of chapter 23. Chapter 24. Behold, Jehovah maketh the earth empty, and maketh it waste, and turneth it upside down, and scattereth abroad the inhabitants thereof. And it shall be, as with the people, so with the priest, as with the servant, so with his master, as with the maid, so with her mistress, as with the buyer, so with the seller, as with the creditor, so with the debtor, as with the taker of interest, so with the giver of interest to him. The earth shall be utterly emptied, and utterly laid waste, for Jehovah hath spoken this word. The earth mourneth, and fadeth away. The world languisheth, and fadeth away. The lofty people of the earth do languish. The earth also is polluted under the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the laws, violated the statutes, broken the everlasting covenant. Therefore hath the curse devoured the earth, and they that dwell therein are found guilty. Therefore the inhabitants of the earth are burned, and few men left. The new wine mourneth, the vine languisheth, all the merry-hearted do sigh. The mirth of tabrets ceaseth, the noise of them that rejoice endeth, the joy of the harp ceaseth. They shall not drink wine with a song. Strong drink shall be bitter to them that drink it. The waste city is broken down. Every house is shut up, that no man may come in. There is a crying in the streets because of the wine. All joy is darkened. The mirth of the land is gone. And the city is left desolation, and the gate is smitten with destruction. For thus shall it be in the midst of the earth among the peoples, as the shaking of an olive tree, as the gleanings when the vintage is done. These shall lift up their voice, they shall shout for the majesty of Jehovah, they cry aloud from the sea. Wherefore glorify ye Jehovah in the east, even the name of Jehovah, the God of Israel, in the isles of the sea. From the uttermost part of the earth have we heard songs, glory to the righteous. But I said, I pine away, I pine away. Woe is me! The treacherous have dealt treacherously, yea, the treacherous have dealt very treacherously. Fear, and the pit, and the snare are upon thee, O inhabitant of the earth. And it shall come to pass that he who fleeth from the noise of the fear shall fall into the pit. And he that cometh up out of the midst of the pit shall be taken in the snare. For the windows on high are opened, and the foundations of the earth tremble. The earth is utterly broken, the earth is rent asunder, the earth is shaken violently. The earth shall stagger like a drunken man, and shall sway to and fro like a hammock. And the transgression thereof shall be heavy upon it, and it shall fall and not rise again. And it shall come to pass in that day that Jehovah will punish the host of the high ones on high, and the kings of the earth upon the earth. And they shall be gathered together, as prisoners are gathered in the pit, and shall be shut up in the prison. And after many days shall they be visited. Then the moon shall be confounded, and the sun ashamed. For Jehovah of hosts will reign in Mount Zion, and in Jerusalem, and before his elders shall be glory. End of chapter 24. Chapter 25. O Jehovah, thou art my God. I will exalt thee. I will praise thy name, for thou hast done wonderful things, even counsels of old, and faithfulness and truth. For thou hast made of a city a heap, of a fortified city a ruin, a palace of strangers to be no city. It shall never be built. Therefore shall a strong people glorify thee. A city of terrible nations shall fear thee. For thou hast been a stronghold to the poor, a stronghold to the needy in his distress, a refuge from the storm, a shade from the heat, when the blast of the terrible ones is as a storm against the wall. As the heat in a dry place wilt thou bring down the noise of strangers. As the heat by the shade of a cloud, the song of the terrible ones shall be brought low. And in this mountain will Jehovah of hosts make unto all peoples a feast of fat things, a feast of wines on the lees, of fat things full of marrow, of wines on the lees well refined. And he will destroy in this mountain the face of the covering that covereth all peoples, and the veil that is spread over all nations. He hath swallowed up death forever. And the Lord Jehovah will wipe away tears from off all faces, and the reproach of his people will he take away from off all the earth. For Jehovah hath spoken it. And it shall be said in that day, Lo, this is our God. We have waited for him, and he will save us. This is Jehovah. We have waited for him. We will be glad and rejoice in his salvation. For in this mountain will the hand of Jehovah rest. And Moab shall be trodden down in his place, even as straw is trodden down in the water of the dunghill. And he shall spread forth his hands in the midst thereof, as he that swimmeth spreadeth forth his hands to swim. But Jehovah will lay low his pride, together with the craft of his hands. And the high fortress of thy walls hath he brought down, laid low, and brought to the ground, even to the dust. End of chapter 25. Chapter 26. In that day shall this song be sung in the land of Judah. We have a strong city. Salvation will he appoint for walls and bulwarks. Open ye the gates, that the righteous nation which keepeth faith may enter in. Thou wilt keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on thee, because he trusteth in thee. Trust ye in Jehovah for ever, for in Jehovah, even Jehovah, is an everlasting rock. For he hath brought down them that dwell on high, the lofty city. He layeth it low. He layeth it low even to the ground. He bringeth it even to the dust. The foot shall tread it down, even the feet of the poor, and the steps of the needy. The way of the just is uprightness. Thou that art upright dost direct the path of the just. Yea, in the way of thy judgments, O Jehovah, have we waited for thee. To thy name, even to thy memorial name, is the desire of our soul. With my soul have I desired thee in the night. Yea, with my spirit within me will I seek thee earnestly. For when thy judgments are in the earth, the inhabitants of the world learn righteousness. Let favor be showed to the wicked, yet will he not learn righteousness. In the land of uprightness will he deal wrongfully, and will not behold the majesty of Jehovah. Jehovah, thy hand is lifted up, yet they see not. But they shall see thy zeal for the people, and be put to shame. Yea, fire shall devour thine adversaries. Jehovah, thou wilt ordain peace for us, for thou hast also wrought all our works for us. O Jehovah our God. Other lords besides thee have had dominion over us, but by thee only will we make mention of thy name. They are dead, they shall not live. They are deceased, they shall not rise. Therefore hast thou visited and destroyed them, and made all remembrance of them to perish. Thou hast increased the nation, O Jehovah, thou hast increased the nation. Thou art glorified, thou hast enlarged all the borders of the land. Jehovah, in trouble have they visited thee. They poured out a prayer when thy chastening was upon them. Like as a woman with child, that draweth near the time of her delivery, is in pain and crieth out in her pangs, so we have been before thee, O Jehovah. We have been with child, we have been in pain, we have, as it were, brought forth wind. We have not brought any deliverance in the earth, neither have the inhabitants of the world fallen. thy dead shall live, my dead bodies shall arise. Awake and sing, ye that dwell in the dust, for thy dew is as the dew of herbs, and the earth shall cast forth the dead. Come, my people, enter thou into thy chambers, and shut thy doors about thee. Hide thyself for a little moment, until the indignation be overpast. For behold, Jehovah cometh forth out of his place to punish the inhabitants of the earth for their iniquity. The earth also shall disclose her blood, and shall no more cover her slain. End of chapter 26. Chapter 27. In that day Jehovah with his hard and great and strong sword will punish Leviathan, the swift serpent, and Leviathan, the crooked serpent, and he will slay the monster that is in the sea. In that day a vineyard of wine, sing ye unto it. I, Jehovah, am its keeper. I will water it every moment, lest any hurt it. I will keep it night and day. Wrath is not in me. Would that the briars and thorns were against me in battle! I would march upon them, I would burn them together. Or else let him take hold of my strength, that he may make peace with me. Yea, let him make peace with me. In days to come shall Jacob take root, Israel shall blossom and bud, and they shall fill the face of the world with fruit. Hath he smitten them as he smote those that smote them? Or are they slain according to the slaughter of them that were slain by them? In measure, when thou sendest them away, thou dost contend with them. He hath removed them with his rough blast in the day of the east wind. Therefore by this shall the iniquity of Jacob be forgiven. And this is all the fruit of taking away his sin, that he maketh all the stones of the altar as chalk stones, that are beaten in sunder, so that the Asherim and the sun images shall rise no more. For the fortified city is solitary, a habitation deserted and forsaken. Like the wilderness, there shall the calf feed, and there shall he lie down, and consume the branches thereof. When the boughs thereof are withered, they shall be broken off. The women shall come, and set them on fire, for it is a people of no understanding. Therefore he that made them will not have compassion upon them, and he that formed them will show them no favor. And it shall come to pass in that day, that Jehovah will beat off his fruit from the flood of the river unto the brook of Egypt, and ye shall be gathered one by one, O ye children of Israel. And it shall come to pass in that day, that a great trumpet shall be blown, and they shall come that were ready to perish in the land of Assyria, and they that were outcasts in the land of Egypt, and they shall worship Jehovah in the holy mountain at Jerusalem. End of chapter 27. Chapter 28. Woe to the crown of pride of the drunkards of Ephraim, and to the fading flower of his glorious beauty, which is on the head of the fat valley of them that are overcome with wine. Behold, the Lord hath a mighty and strong one, as a tempest of hail, a destroying storm, as a tempest of mighty waters overflowing, will he cast down to the earth with the hand. The crown of pride of the drunkards of Ephraim shall be trodden under foot, and the fading flower of his glorious beauty, which is on the head of the fat valley, shall be as the first ripe fig before the summer, which when he that looketh upon it seeth, while it is yet in his hand, he eateth it up. In that day will Jehovah of hosts become a crown of glory, and a diadem of beauty, unto the residue of his people, and a spirit of justice to him that sitteth in judgment, and strength to them that turn back the battle at the gate. And even these reel with wine, and stagger with strong drink. The priest and the prophet reel with strong drink. They are swallowed up of wine. They stagger with strong drink. They err in vision. They stumble in judgment. For all tables are full of vomit and filthiness, so that there is no place clean. Whom will he teach knowledge? And whom will he make to understand the message? Them that are weaned from the milk, and drawn from the breasts? For it is precept upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, line upon line, here a little, there a little. Nay, but by men of strange lips and with another tongue will he speak to this people, to whom he said, This is the rest, give ye rest to him that is weary, and this is the refreshing, yet they would not hear. Therefore shall the word of Jehovah be unto them, precept upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, line upon line, here a little, there a little, that they may go, and fall backward, and be broken, and snared, and taken. Wherefore hear the word of Jehovah, ye scoffers, that rule this people that is in Jerusalem. Because ye have said, We have made a covenant with death, and with Sheol are we at agreement. When the overflowing scourge shall pass through, it shall not come unto us, for we have made lies our refuge, and under falsehood have we hid ourselves. Therefore thus saith the Lord Jehovah, Behold, I lay in Zion for a foundation, a stone, a tried stone, a precious cornerstone, of sure foundation. He that believeth shall not be in haste. And I will make justice the line, and righteousness the plummet, and the hail shall sweep away the refuge of lies, and the water shall overflow the hiding place. And your covenant with death shall be annulled, and your agreement with Sheol shall not stand. When the overflowing scourge shall pass through, then ye shall be trodden down by it. As often as it passeth through, it shall take you, for morning by morning shall it pass through, by day and by night. And it shall be naught but terror to understand the message. For the bed is shorter than that a man can stretch himself on it, and the covering narrower than that he can wrap himself in it. For Jehovah will rise up as in Mount Perazim. He will be wroth as in the valley of Gibeon, that he may do his work, his strange work, and bring to pass his act, his strange act. Now, therefore, be ye not scoffers, lest your bonds be made strong. For a decree of destruction have I heard from the Lord Jehovah of hosts upon the whole earth. Give ye ear, and hear my voice. Hearken, and hear my speech. Doth he that ploweth to sow plow continually? Doth he continually open and harrow his ground? When he hath levelled the face thereof, doth he not cast abroad the fitches, and scatter the cumin, and put in the wheat in rows, and the barley in the appointed place, and the spelt in the border thereof? For his God doth instruct him aright, and doth teach him. For the fitches are not threshed with a sharp threshing instrument, neither is a cartwheel turned about upon the cumin, but the fitches are beaten out with a staff, and the cumin with a rod. Bread grain is ground, for he will not be always threshing it, and though the wheel of his cart and his horses scatter it, he doth not grind it. This also cometh forth from Jehovah of hosts, who is wonderful in counsel, and excellent in wisdom. End of chapter 28.